Abigail Hernandez, better known as AB, was born on October 12, 1998, in the city of Manchester, in the state of New Hampshire, United States. Daughter of Ruben Hernandez and a nurse named Xania Hernandez, Abigail also had an elder sister named Sarah. The young woman was described by people close to her as someone cheerful, kind, who loved animals and rock music, and was very easy to make friends. It is said that she was very close to her family, especially her mother. When their parents divorced, Abigail and her sister Sarah lived with their mother, Xania, in North Cornwall, also in New Hampshire. Shortly thereafter, she met a guy named Jimmy Campbell, who she started dating. Abigail attended Kennett School, where she learned German and robotics. As a hobby, the young woman liked to walk with her mother every weekend. On October 9, 2013, just days away from her 15th birthday, Abigail was super excited to have a celebration with her friends and family. Abigail and her boyfriend Jimmy usually took the bus home from school, but on this day, she wanted to stop by a store first, so the young woman decided to walk back. From there, Abigail disappeared without a trace. When her mother Xania came home from work that night, she was surprised to find that her daughter still hadn't returned from school. She called the young woman's boyfriend to check if she was with him, but the boy explained to her that AB had walked back home, and he hadn't seen her since. None of Abigail's other friends knew where she had gone. Xania was worried that something bad had happened to her daughter. My thought was, what if she got hurt, broke her leg or something? Appendicitis, who knows, or got hit by a car. I called at hospitals to see if she was there, but no one saw her. Xania was going crazy with worry. She immediately called the police and reported her daughter missing. The search for AB began almost immediately. Soon, the FBI took over the case. The agents went from door to door in the small neighborhood to try to discover information that could help in the investigations. And the case soon became one of the most investigated and with more repercussions in the state. Flyers with the young woman's photo were distributed throughout the city, while friends and neighbors volunteered to help. On what was supposed to be her 15th birthday party, her family and friends had a vigil to pray for her safe return. But days passed with no news, and people began to wonder if she had run away from home. Someone even claimed that they had seen her with Jimmy at a pharmacy buying a pregnancy test before she disappeared. The police thought that perhaps she had discovered that she was pregnant and decided to flee, so Jimmy was called in for questioning. He denied this information and said that while he was returning from the school bus, he saw Abigail walking down the street and walking alone. He even asked the driver if he could stop the bus so he could get off and walk with her, but the driver refused and said that it was against the school's safety policies. Then Jimmy texted her saying, "I love you," and she responded with a heart emoji. After a few days of investigations, the police ruled Jimmy out as a suspect. They were desperate for information, as the only thing they knew was that the young woman was seen returning from school. A $20,000 reward was offered for any information leading to her whereabouts. During the investigations, the police discovered that on the day of her disappearance, around 2:53 p.m., Abigail's telephone signal disappeared about 2 kilometers from her home. The last image capture of the young woman was from a school security camera. The images show Abigail walking and behaving normally. She was only wearing the clothes on her back, didn't know how to drive, and also didn't have the habit of taking money with her when she went out. That is, there was no evidence that she intended to run away from home. Joseph Ebert, the lead investigator on the case, said he went through bank accounts and made a thorough investigation into the lives of everyone close to the young woman, until finally he was sure that none of them was involved. A month passed, and the police didn't get any information about the young woman. Xania, Abigail's mother, had barely been able to eat or sleep since her daughter disappeared. She also stopped picking up the mail and neglected doing her daily chores for weeks at a time. And one occasion even followed a girl who looked like her daughter she saw on the street, just to make sure it wasn't her, and tried at least calmly to her heart. Xenia felt such anguish that she believed she would never see her daughter again. The days passed, and Xenia felt it was time to take back her life a little. She went back to pick up her mail, and with that, she had a surprise. In the middle of the correspondence, there was a letter that was supposedly written by Abigail, and in that letter, it said the following. Dear Mom, I miss you and love you more than you can imagine. I'm sorry I did this. I've seen the newspaper and TV reports, and to answer your questions, yes, I'm alive. Xenia saw a light at the end of the tunnel. Knowing that her daughter was alive and well, fueled her hopes of seeing her again. The woman told officer that she believed the letter was indeed written by her daughter, but that it was not sent by her. For Xenia, Abigail was forced to write that and was in danger. An expertise was made on the letter, and confirmed that there was Abigail's DNA, and that the handwriting was indeed hers. Authorities waited a month to release the letter to the press, as they feared it could put Abigail Hernandez at even greater risk. Abigail's mother also wrote a symbolic letter to her daughter. She took a picture of this letter and posted it on her social media, in the hopes that her daughter would see it. When Abigail's letter was released, many who had been following the case were not surprised. They began to say that they had known all along that the young woman had run away, but she was not in danger and was just trying to get attention. Abigail's best friend Miranda Cloutier countered this information. She said that Abigail was happy, and that if she thought about running away from home, she certainly would have told her about it. Shortly thereafter, the young woman's father began to believe the rumors. He began to think that perhaps his daughter had run away from home because his separation and fights that had been taking place between him and the young woman's mother. He even said he would relinquish custody of her, because he believed that was one of the reasons she ran away from home. In a text on Facebook, the young woman's father posted the following. Abby, it's very important that you understand why I want custody of you. From the letter we received from you, it's obvious that you've run away from home. And that begs the question, what did you run away from? Only you can answer that, but I think you ran away from your own life. However, for Xenia, it didn't make any sense that her daughter had run away. Even after she read the letter, she still felt that Abigail was in danger. And she was right all along. On July 20, 2014, 9 months after her disappearance, something surprising happened. Abigail walked into their family home, wearing exactly the same clothes she was wearing the day she disappeared. But what had happened? Could it be that the young woman just ran away in an act of rebellion to get attention? No. In fact, something terrible has happened to her. Something few have ever imagined. The young woman said that while walking home that day, she was having a lot of difficulty walking, because her boots she had just received for her birthday were hurting her feet so much. Then, a man put up beside her and offered her a ride. Abigail accepted right away. Little did she know that this would be the beginning of a nightmare. When the young woman got into the car, she asked the man to drop her off at a restaurant, as she didn't want him to know where she lived. The man said that that was fine, but that he needed to go somewhere else before. At that moment, Abigail realized that she was in danger. She quickly unfastened her seatbelt to try to escape, but the man was faster and pointed a gun at her, saying he would shoot her if she screamed or tried anything. Afterwards, the man handcuffed her and broke her phone. Abigail was taken to a house located about 48 kilometers away from where she was kidnapped. This house is located in a remote and densely forested area, a place where people are rarely found. There, Abigail was locked in a soundproof shipping container. The young woman understood that the only way for her to have a chance and maybe get out of the situation alive was to cooperate with her kidnapper. Abigail has spent the last 9 months suffering all kinds of abuse, violence, and humiliation, which I can't go into details here. But I think you already have an idea of what happened. The young woman was forced to wear a necklace that gave her shock, and was obliged to call her kidnapper by master. All the while, Abigail said she prayed a lot and tried to keep hope that she would make it out of there alive. According to her, in her prayers, she never said amen at the end, for fear that would be the end of her prayer, and God would abandon her. Abigail also said that it was her kidnapper who forced her to write the letter that was sent to her mother. She said that she tried to write some secret message in the letter asking for help, but he noticed and punished her. Then he allowed her to write a letter again, and it was done. Abigail all the while used her wits to stay alive, playing with her kidnapper's sick mind. She told the man that he could trust her, and always offered to help him around the house. She was also willing to help him with the illegal business of producing counterfeit bills. All this so that he could acquire some confidence in her. This strategy worked, and the man started telling her about his life, and even bought her books to keep her busy. And that's how she discovered his name, Nathaniel Kibbe. His name was written in a cookbook he had given her. On the night of July 20, 2014, the date on which the young woman appeared walking back to her house, Nathaniel was afraid of the police knocked on his door because of the counterfeit money. He had paid someone with the fake bills. This person noticed and said he was going to report him to the police. The man didn't want Abigail to be discovered with him. So he put her in the car, drove to the same place where he kidnapped her 9 months ago, and after making her promise that she wouldn't say anything to the police about him, he let her go. The young woman later said in interviews that she remembers laughing with so much happiness. She couldn't believe that this was happening and that she was returning home safely. She also said that when she entered the house and called for her mother quickly ran to her and hugged her. A security camera even filmed Abigail returning home after 9 months. 8 days later, the police raided Nathaniel's house after Abby explained to them where it was. 35-year-old Nathaniel was arrested for the kidnapping and abuse of Abigail Hernandez. On May 26, 2016, after 2 years of preparing for a trial, he pleaded guilty to all charges. He confessed everything to the judge at a hearing. Nathaniel faced over 180 counts, but only pleaded guilty to 7 counts as a part of a plea bargain. That deal he made with prosecutors included a sentence of 45 to 9 years and participation in the treatment program for batterers. He would also have to serve his sentence outside of New Hampshire. The judge found the sentence too soft, but the agreement was made so that Abigail would be spared the embarrassment of testifying against him and having to describe everything he did to her during captivity, since her account, according to her lawyers, were explicit and disturbing. Today, Nathaniel Kibbe is serving his sentence at a Carroll County Board of Correction in Maryland on $1 million bail. In interviews, Abigail told about what she went through during the period she was in captivity and how that whole traumatic situation affected her life. She also said that after all, she tries to appreciate the little moments in life, like sunshine and fresh air, not letting those little things go unnoticed. Currently, she lives a very private life and tries to forget what happened in order to move on. Alright folks, that's it for today. Thanks for watching until the end. Best wishes, and I see you next time.